Greetings and salutations! Welcome to On the Peg, Season 3. It's finally Episode 1. And I'm only here on request because a certain fan, Shane, wanted to see me. I don't have a toy today. No, I didn't. I didn't have a toy today, but I thought I'd introduce the host of the show. Today, of course, hosting the show is the ugliest man in the world, at least in this room, the Mad Montreal Man. So I'm going to let him take over the show now, and we'll see you then. Next time. Later. Bye. Bye, Deleedy. Well, need some whiskey. Thanks for that, Peter. I didn't really ask you to host the show or even introduce me. But hey, welcome. As Peter said, it's Season 3, Episode 1. Actually, Episode 1 with our new format. I am your host of the show, the Mad Montreal Man. My name is Joseph. Other people know me as Hey You. Or, man, you're an ugly dude. Or, yeah, it's not easy being me. But then again, when you're single, you have toys. Yes. And one thing we're not doing today is a Batman figure. No Shariba, no Batmans today. But I did pick up something which I didn't think in the longest time I'd be picking up, because I haven't bought this toy brand in a while. But for the first time in a long time, because I pre-ordered this back in, I think it was late November, I bought a Marvel Legends. Now, one of the reasons why I stopped buying Marvel Legends way back when was, well, to begin with, when they first came out, they were cool. Yeah, they were better than the DC toys at the time. DC toys had those weird pelvic areas and weird leg joints. And they came out, they were pretty cool looking. And they were only so many per year. And it got to the point where they were being flooded on the market. There were so many coming out that you just couldn't keep up. Too many exclusives. That was one reason I stopped buying them. Another reason why I stopped buying them was I noticed the quality that they started doing them was going, I mean, the arm joints were looking separated from the body. I never liked that sort of like torso thing in the middle. That was another reason why I stopped buying them. And it just got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break from buying toys. Yeah, I know. I actually stopped buying toys for a while. Hard to believe. But when I saw the promos for this one, the pre-orders, and I went, yeah, Marvel Legend, it's not what I normally buy, but this one I made the exception. I might make a few more exceptions down the road, because we've done Marvel Legends here before. Lowry's done the Eternals. Whew, poor Lowry. I still got one of those to do too now, thanks to that gift. But no, I gave in, and in some ways it's because it makes me think of DC. I bought Marvel Legends Power Princess, or as a lot of people call it, the Marvel's ripoff or spoof of Wonder Woman. And apparently Disney has no shame in saying, let's take a DC idea and make more money out of it and sell it. And, you know, so I'm going to take it out of the package. Yeah, I know. I'm crazy. I'm mad. I'm insane. I'm freezing. It's cold. Oh, it's when you turn off your heat, you'd be surprised how cold winter in Canada can be. But that's besides the point. I got my wonderful studio lights to keep me warm. And, of course, I have a toy to open up now. Back in. All right, so here we have her out of the package. I know a lot of people out there have been buying this because they've been doing custom Wonder Womans of her. They turned her into Wonder Woman or Superwoman from the DC universe. To me, if I had another one of these, which I wouldn't mind having down the road, I would probably repaint this as a Teen Titans Wonder Girl. The only thing that's different is Wonder Girl, quite often in the old comic books, had a ponytail, but she's a bit smaller than a woman. But one of the things I did like about this Marvel Legend is the fact that they didn't go with the usual bendable. It looks more like an actual DC figure. So it's got that, you know, stomach that doesn't look weird. It does have the hip swivels that I don't like, and I don't like talking about those kind of things. But overall, it's got a nice face sculpt. It does make me think of an Amazon. The shield is probably the biggest disappointment. It's very thin, and it reminds me of a shield from the Masters of the Universe Revelations character. It's almost the same color, almost the same design. So the shield's a bit disappointing. The sword is nice. I had no problem putting the sword in her hand. So that's a point to them. Because normally with the DC toys, even though, as you can see, putting something in her hands is normally very difficult. She does come with spare hands and a pair of legs from a Build-A-Figure, and I don't care. I do like the artwork in the back. It's nice artwork. Overall, do I regret pre-ordering her? No, I like her. It's to me, she's an Amazon. She's pretty cool. Like I said, the only reason why I bought it, it was like, you know what? She'll fit into DC. She's a bit smaller than most of DC's, but taller than some of the Marvel Legends. So I'm kind of happy I got her. It's if Marvel keeps this up, if they can stop doing these stupid swiveling hills with the lines, I might buy more Marvels. Especially if they start doing the Squadron Supreme, more of them like this, with better quality. I might have to at least collect those. That'd be kind of like DC doing the Crusaders. Oh, now I'm really dating myself. Maybe I'll pull up that comic book one of these days. But going back in the time when Marvel started doing the, at the time they were the Squadron Supreme from an evil Earth. Sounds like Earth 3. Earth 3 Superwoman or Superior Woman. DC and Marvel had this little joke. So in The Invaders, which was a Marvel comic book, they had, a hint of, they sort of hinted at these kind of characters, but they did them in Avengers, really. But Marvel had a comic book called Freedom Fighters. Uncle Sam, Black Condor, Phantom Lady, really cool characters. And in 2 episodes, they had basically a spoof of The Invaders. They had America Commando. They had Barracuda. They basically had The Invaders done DC style. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing those. That'd be kind of fun, to have a America Commando. And I will pull out that comic book one of these days. It was a hilarious comic book. And one thing we will be doing in future segments of the show, not just yet, we will be doing a look at retro comic book reviews. We're going to be pulling out some of my comic books from my collection, and we're going to talk about them. But, yeah, there she is. I'm going to end this little segment with a close-up of her, because everyone does close-ups. Might as well join the club. And, yeah, it's the first Marvel Legend I bought in a long time. Wow, it's been years. One thing I can complain about, the base. There is none. But I do find that she is a little stiff when it comes to making her stand. I haven't tried standing her yet on her own. No, she is definitely... Well, I'll blame the sword and shield, but she wants to lean forward. Let me try that. Okay, I'm going to have to find a pose that I can stand her up on the shelf, because this one's going to be on the shelf. It's not going to go in a box. I think the problem is the way her legs are, they don't go further back, so she's constantly leaning forward. It's one of those things where you would need a stand to put her on, and I think I got a spare stand somewhere, so I'll just use that McFarlane stand to put her on. But yeah, so I'm going to do a close-up of this, and that close-up's going to lead into the next segment. Segments? Yes! That's the new format. We're doing the show in little segments. You're going to have a new toy, maybe 1 or 2. You're going to have sort of a guest host every now and then. Today we do have a guest host. And then it wasn't Peter. Peter just decided to show up on camera. And we're also going to be looking at something from my collection, a retro look, or well, you'll see what I call it in a second. Okay, so let's hit a cut. I'll show you the close-up of her, and then we'll be back to the next segment. Yeah, she does have that bit of a grumpy face, but here's a nice close-up, and that's what I mean by the torso is nice and designed. Those hip lines that I hate. And I did use the DC base. The peg is really tight in her foothold, but it actually seems to hold her up, because no matter what I tried, she does have a forward lean to her. But I can definitely see why a lot of people have been taking this and making Wonder Woman customs out of her, or, Superwoman from the Crime Syndicate or 3. To me, if I had another one, I would probably do a repaint, turn her into a younger Wonder Girl from the Teen Titans. But we're going to go to the next segment now, and I hope you like this segment. And yeah, Marvel Legends. Who'd ever thought I bought one again? Oh, look at all the toys. Wow. Hopefully one day I'll have this many toys too. But until then, I'm going to start building my collection one toy at a time. Hey, it's me, Leroy Jr. Welcome to Leroy Jr.'s Look at Toys for Kids. Yeah, producer man said because I'm still on the show, he's going to still get me a toy every now and then, and he did. Yeah, he got me a He-Man toy, because I like the He-Man toys. So he got me He-Man, the Masters of the Universe Man-at-Arms. I'm going to pan the camera over so you can see him. I got to do my own camera work, though. All right, so I'm going to take him out of the package and we'll take a good look at him, okay?
I mean, he's almost as big as I am. Now, I'm not too crazy about the fact that you can't see his face, and he's not really posable, but he is kind of cool. I don't think I'm gonna, in my toys, he's not gonna be called Man-at-Arms. He's gonna be called Orange Robot Dude. I still don't know what that big thing on his left arm does. It's like a giant plastic ball, but it's a toy, and I'm a kid, and kids should have toys that they can play with, not just put on a package and leave on a wall. Yeah, so that's it for me this week. I'll see you whenever I get another toy again. Thank you so much for watching Leroy Jr.'s Toy Review for Kids. Time to go play.
Hey, welcome to the first installment of this segment on the show. It's basically something I could have called retro toys or looking back. Or I'm just going to call it what it is. It's kind of like me. I'm vintage. I'm old. It's basically the vintage corner of On the Peg. And I want to talk about the toy that I grew up with as a kid. This was, as a child, my favorite toy. I loved it. I had a lot of them until that insane mother of mine, when I was 16, went camping, decided to give away my toys. And I'm talking about, the original, the GOT. The original 12-inch G.I. Joe. Now, this G.I. Joe is not one of the ones I had as a kid. I didn't have any. I managed to get this thing many, many years ago. I felt nostalgic. It was one of the first toys I started buying when I started buying toys again. Now, the uniform is not a G.I. Joe uniform. I couldn't find one, but it was, an Action Man uniform. But this is what I'm talking about. This is when toys had character, the scar on the face. G.I. Joe could do anything. And you want to talk about posability, to this day, I've yet to find any action figure as posable as G.I. Joe. Now, this one, unfortunately, had some damage I had to repair. But back in the day, this was the ultimate toy. And, because of this, there was another toy line I bought, down the line. But this was the ultimate toy line. I loved it. There was even a smaller G.I. Joe they did that was the same size as the old Star Trek toys and Planet Ape toys. I had a few of those. And even at one point, if you saw on the shelf the other day, I pointed to these two characters up there next to a robot. That was a G.I. Joe line as well. Now, of course, everyone knows G.I. Joe's as the 6-inchers, but to me, this was Joe. And to be Canadian, of course, I have the... Now, unfortunately, this is just the box, the few accessories. It's not the actual G.I. Joe. I got this ages ago. It's in really good condition, and I love it. Just for the packaging alone, when I eventually have shelves completely set up, this is going to get its prominent spot right next to Joe. Currently, right now, these are both on display in my basement, where my sort of writing office is. But last episode, I mentioned that I had all, the first 3 years of G.I. Joe vehicles, because I was going to make a movie. Now, one thing I also did... You might not remember this, but G.I. Joe had trading cards. Yeah. And they were not easy to get. You had to buy one of these packages. Yeah. Now, this package has been opened. It's not sealed. But I kept one package to show what the packages look like. But eventually, spending, at the time, a lot of money on cards. I bought a lot of cards back in the days. And every week, you might see some more cards. Because I have Marvel Legends, DC... Some other cards you might never have thought of existed, but I have cards. But what I did manage to do was do this. It is a complete set of G.I. Joe cards. And I'll do a cutaway that I'll insert. That I'll show you a bit of more of an overview. But to get this complete set, including having the checklist to confirm that I managed to get them all. Of course, you can imagine how many of these I had to buy. To such a point where, I have box. I made one complete set. That's it. I can never make two. But, just going to pull out some of the cards at random. Oh, of course, it figures. The first card I pull out, Snake Eyes. And as you can tell, I got more than one. And, people thought I was crazy. Oh, G.I. Joe cards? No one cares about G.I. Joe. But now I have a complete set that has not seen the light of day. These cards have never really been manhandled. I mean, boom. Look at that. And I've got quite a lot of doubles. mean a lot. I mean, I never plan on building more than one set. Because, you know, I just wanted the one set for me. But, you know, and with the way things are right now, it's kind of fun just pulling them out and showing to you. As you can see, these cards are in really good shape. Oh, special missions. Yes. But yeah, I got a whole box of these doubles. Honestly, I don't know anything about cards. Really, I don't have price guides for them. All I know is that these are in near mint. I mean, some of them would probably be considered mint just because of the fact that they sat in this box. After I opened them, went, okay, I don't need him, don't need him, put him in the box, put him in the box. Oh, I need him, put him in the binder. Now, this will never be for sale. This is going to be for my daughters when I'm dead, because by then, this will be such an antique, it'll be worth money. Now, as for these, I don't know if they're worth money or not. I really don't. I do know that there's a big G.I. Joe community out there, and if the way things are going the way they are and I can't find work, maybe come end of February, I might put these up for sale. Now, I'm not going to go to a card shop here, but if you are a G.I. Joe guy, and you're just like, oh my God, G.I. Joe cards, and you know how much they're worth, let me know, please. Because I'd like to know if it's worthwhile actually selling them or not. If not, I will just keep them in their box forever. Oh, I was upside down, sorry. Yeah, if not, I'll just keep them in the box forever. But, you know, that was fun. It's one of the things I have. Now, I don't collect cards anymore. I don't. I have my card collections I did at the time. I'm happy I did them. I enjoyed them. I spent a lot of money buying packs, you can imagine, to make this set. I mean, the worst thing was the hardest ones to get, oddly enough, were the honor rolls. These were so hard to get, but I managed to eventually buy and make a complete set. I think I ended up by going through, I think it was 8 complete boxes of G.I. Joe cards to finally make this. And at the time, I did know other people who were, you know, doing G.I. Joe sets, so that's why I only have one full box of this. Well, it's not even that full anymore. But yeah, that's it for the vintage part of the show this week. I hope you liked it. Now, what would you like to see next week? You want to see some vintage DC, vintage Marvel, or just some other vintage stuff? It's not always going to be cards and a G.I. Joe. It might be something else. But that's it for this segment. And I hope you like the new format. I know it goes a lot longer than I originally wanted to, but that's the way the show goes now. In little segments. And this is the vintage segment, and you should expect one every week unless it's a special. And let's go to the next segment now, shall we? Let's go. Okay, so I'll give you a bit of a teaser here. I'm just going to scan the pages very fast. I'll stop on a few of them here. So these were put in order. They were put, you know, card number 1 going forward. But these were the action figures and toys that I had bought. I mean, I remember these sitting. Some were already taken out of package, some were still in package, but one of my favorites. But yeah, G.I. Joe. Good old, you know, Storm Shadow. But this was, you know, this was one of the hardest card collections I've ever done. Was doing the G.I. Joes. Of course, there's Snake Eyes again. Gotta have Scarlet. I mean, part of the fun was the artwork. I mean, it was the artwork on these. They just don't do stuff like this anymore. They just don't. You know, they just don't do that kind of fun. Of course, you have the official G.I. Joe Gung-Ho, Payload. I mean, if you're a G.I. Joe collector, and I was at the time, I was collecting all the G.I. Joe guys. Like I said, I had that wonderful idea of doing a giant stop-action G.I. Joe toy commercial as my university piece, and that got ruined. And yeah, but these are the cards. I'm doing a page by page. I mean, it wasn't a big set. It wasn't like doing a Marvel Legends set or the DC set or even the Frank Frazetta set. Yes, Frank Frazetta had cards. So did Boris Vallejo. So did Olivia. Maybe we'll show those eventually, but it just shows you how nice it is when you can get a complete set. You can flip through the pages and go, oh, I remember that one. I remember that. And yeah, I still have some G.I. Joe comic books, not all of them. Because I did sell a lot of my G.I. Joe comic books when I had my own comic book store in Vancouver. But I kept the cards. because these are it's just, it's trading cards. It's like when I was a kid, I had a lot of hockey trading cards. I still love them. But I remember this one. Ugh. It was just one of those things where, I didn't feel like going through that, 20 years from now, I'm going to miss having these cards. Well, it's been more than 20 years. This was 1991, by the way. Some of you people out there who collect G.I. Joe might not have even been born at the time. But yeah, here they are. Here's the G.I. Joe cards, page by page. I'm not going into big detail, nor am I going to put the light bright on them because, like I said, these are as mint as you're going to find, unless you find them in a package somewhere. Dr. Mindbender. Oh, come on. These were fun cards. And one of the worst things about doing this set was the checklist. Oddly enough, the one thing I don't have doubles of, at least not that I can remember, was the actual checklist cards. So let's get back to the regular video. Welcome to a new segment of the show. I know in the opening segment where I looked at the Power Princess, I said I'd be doing comic books down the road. Well, I'm not doing a comic books. This is going to be a look at graphic novels, because the segment on the show is going to be comic books, graphic novels, or art books, stuff from my collection, stuff I think you should track down if you don't have it. And today, to start off this inaugural segment of me looking at books, those of you who used to watch Mad Montreal Man YouTube channel know fully well that I used to do a weekly comic book review show. It's not going to be like that. I'm not buying new books. This is stuff from my collection. But today, I am going to be talking to you about one of my favorite graphic novel series, one of my favorite artists ever. Unfortunately, he passed away years ago, and it's a great loss to the comic book and art community. But today, I'm going to be talking about Richard Stark's Parker, the series. Written by Richard Stark, adapted and illustrated by Darwin Cook. There was 4 graphic novels in the series. Of course, the first one is The Score. The second one was Slayground. The third one was The Outfit. And the last one that came out was The Hunter. Now, I'm not going to give you spoilers on the story or anything like that. But this is one of the books I do recommend. Go to your comic book store. Go to your bookstores and see if they have them. I'll just give you, it's that wonderful illustrated artwork. If you grew up reading the Spirit comics, there's a lot of independent comics, you know that sometimes these tonalities are more of a film noir style. And one of my things is I have a background in TV and film, and I love film noir. And this always made me think of film noir. And you want to talk about storytelling? These are the kind of books that do tell a story. It's not, I'm in a funny suit, I'm going to punch a guy in a funny suit, and that guy who's going to die, but he'll be back 10 issues from now. No. This is the kind of comic books that are intelligent, and they're timeless, they're fantastic, and this is the first series I'm ever going to recommend here on this channel that you should track down. And one good thing is, don't let them to people who crack spines. I've managed to keep these. Oh, nice. But that's it for the book segment. Some book segments will go longer, especially when I start talking about old comic books or art books, but this is something I'm just trying to plug right now because look for these, find them, get them. And if you do get them and read them, let me know what you think in the comments. And on that note, I'm going to wrap up the show because you've had some other interesting segments. Yeah. But thank you once again for watching the show. Hit that like and subscribe. Get the word out there. It'd be nice to get this channel growing a bit more. And yeah, I'll keep you posted on everything else that's going on in life. But right now, I'm enjoying the heat from the lights. Oh, and give you a hint. One thing I did try. I ordered this back in November. It is a lantern. That actually no porch parts. So if you have a toy you want me to review, or you have something you don't want anymore, if you don't think I have it, or you think I might like it, or just want me to review it, contact me on Facebook. Send me. I'll send you a message saying, hey, this is you want me to look at that. I'll tell you if I have it or not, because I might already have one of those toys. And if I have it, I'll just review it. And if I don't, and you don't mind sending it to me, I'll give you my address, mail it out to me, and if you want it back, I'll mail it back to you. But yeah, So find me on Facebook, Montreal Man Joseph Beaulieu. And yeah, message me there. And if not, until then, my friends, my followers, keep surviving. I know it's winter and a lot of places are getting a lot of toys coming out already. I mean, unfortunately, Canada, I think we're the last country that actually is on that toy distribution the way it works, because I've seen stuff that's out in the States that we don't even have here yet. And a good example would have been the Deadman, DC Multiverse Deadman. I wanted that. I pre-ordered it. It came out in New Zealand, came out in Australia. I think it hit Europe as well. Then it hit the States. And then all orders for Canada were canceled. Apparently they didn't make enough of them. Yeah. It's like that Target Wonder Woman exclusive from Flashpoint. I want that one so bad. It's like even now with this controversy with McFarlane Toys, which I talked about last time, there's still people putting videos up saying it's unfair. The price point's insane. I was at GameStop today because I stopped by to pick up my pre-order, my Power Princess, and I was talking to my buddy Casey. And he goes, what's their complaint about $40 for a toy? And I went, yeah, I know. And, if you look at the average price of a toy, like Power Princess, if you bought it full retail in Canada, is like $37 on average. So add tax to that. So, your average DC Multiverse toy, like the regular DCs, are about $29 to $35. The gold labels are in that $39 range, so they're already $40. So yeah, I can understand people in the States freaking out a little bit. It's $40 compared to $25. But keep in mind, when I said shipping, they ship from where they're manufactured to where they go. And a lot of people are saying they're not that great. We should stop buying from McFarlane. No. If you don't want them, you don't like the price, don't pay for them. No one's forcing you to buy that toy. No one forced me to buy Power Princess. I just figured, okay, I want it, I'll buy it. It's the same with that guy I mentioned last time. You're spending $100 on an action figure, and you're complaining about a $40 one. It's one of those things where, even the funny thing is, one of the people I saw who's sponsored, this guy's got thousands of subscribers. He complained about the price too. And I've seen this guy's videos, because I do watch other reviewers. That's why I know I'm different, because I don't do what they do. I show my face. Some do, some don't. Some use toys. Some just show their hands. But this one reviewer brought this up. That's why I'm bringing it up again. He brought it up, and this guy I know has spent, he gets free toys. He's bought toys before that cost $100, $150, and he was complaining, saying that it's too much of a price hike. I don't think this guy's ever bought on the platinum ones, like when I bought the platinum Superman armor ones. Those are expensive. They're more expensive. It's the same figure that came out before. They just do a different paint on it. I have a platinum. I'll give you a hint, okay? I'm not going to show that one, but I bought this one. When I pre-ordered this way back when. It's the Superboy Prime. There's only 4,000 of these. So, did I expect this to be in the $25, $30 range? No. It was going to be more expensive because of what it is. The same with the other platinum one, which I have to open eventually. But I'm not going to mention it because it's the character I said we're not going to mention in this episode. So I'm a bit, shocked at how some of these people are. And I know, for example, in other countries, some toys are really expensive because they're hard to get. Especially when I see these guys who buy toys from Japan. These toys, first of all, toys from Japan quite often are just a statue. They're not really that articulated. And they complain about the prices. You're spending over $100 to get, say, a robot toy. It's $40. If you don't want it, don't buy it. I don't blame McFarlane for raising the prices. Marvel Legends did it too. Marvel Legends in Canada are the most expensive action figures to buy. Mass produce. Like I'm saying, for example, you look at the States, you see all these guys going to a place called Ollie's or some other discount stores. You see all these Marvel Legends on sale for like $5 to $10 US. You don't find that here. Those same toys that they show there on sale in the States, here at Toys R Us in Canada, yeah, we still got Toys R Us in Canada. Those toys are like $30, $35, $37 to $40 for a Marvel Legend. So I find this whole complaining about 4 action figures at a higher price kind of blown out of proportions. If you don't like the price, don't buy them. Because keep in mind, this is McFarlane. McFarlane Toys has a nasty habit of reissuing the toys. I'll give you an example. The Batman Beyond toys. They came out individually. All of them. Then they went out and put a family pack of all the Batman Beyond toys, including the Build-A-Figure, in a box. They've done the same thing for some of the direct DCs. Quite often, companies will put out the toys the first time, and down the road, it'll be reissued. They do that. It's the whole point of toy collecting. It's that fun hunt. Sometimes you wait. There's one guy who's saying he only buys toys when he sees them at the discount stores. Well, there's some toys you're never going to get. Let's put it that way. In some ways, that's why I like some of the vintage toys. Yeah, you weren't expecting a rant. That's also one of the new segments. I'm going to rant every now and then. Like this one guy buys toys at vintage stores, or discount stores. This guy has said he waits for the stores to go from regular price to clearance or to discount stores because he won't buy them at the full price. So I guarantee you there's some stuff he's missing out on. Because you hear the guy, oh, I did my when it first came out. Now it's only $10 now. I was watching one of his videos and he said $10 was too much to pay for it. It was a toy that I looked up in Canada was for selling at the time it came out was $39.99. So if you do depending on what day you're watching this or what week it is, if you do the translation to Canadian dollars, the average Canadian dollar is about 70 to 75 cents of the US dollar. Our exchange rates don't reflect that. No. Something's $1 in the States, you think it'd be $1.25 here? No, it's going to be $2. So for all those people out there who aren't happy with McFarlane doing four figures at a higher price, don't buy them. Just don't. Don't buy them. Because maybe this way McFarlane will say, well, no one's bought them. I'm going to send them up to Canada. And people in Canada can get these exclusives at the stores that are available here. It'd be nice. Or, like I said, be patient. They might eventually be reissued. They might not be issued as a Build-A-Figure. But if you say you just want Psycho Pirate, wouldn't surprise me if a year down the road you got Psycho Pirate variant coming out. Or, you'll have Earth 2 Superman in its own package. Be patient, people. Just wait. Okay? If you don't like the price, don't buy it. No one's forcing you to pay that kind of money. No one's forcing that guy who spends $80 to $100 plus to buy these myth creatures or these Roman creatures or these gladiator creatures, especially the women ones that he can take. Yeah, there's a whole video of him taking apart one of these characters and literally showing that, you can take the armor off. You can basically make her naked except for her lower part. And he literally is like, oh, look at this. Woo, woo. Creepy. I'm sorry. That is creepy, but whatever. I don't know the guy. If I knew the guy, I would have told him, you might want to edit that part out. It's kind of creepy. But, they're toys. Enjoy them. If you don't like them, don't buy them. If you can't afford them, then wait. Simple. I myself, down the road, I will be trying to toy hunt them. I'll try to find them. Eventually, if this channel ever does grow and I have a really happy job I'm comfortable with that makes me enough money to pay my bills and everything else, I will be toy hunting. I will. And like I said earlier, if McFarlane Toys wants to send me toys to review, I'm not going to say no. It's the same thing with anybody who sends me toys. Say a comic book store wants to send me some toys to review. I'll review them. And I'm not going to lie. If I think they're garbage, I'm going to tell you they're garbage. If I think they're great, I'll tell you they're great. For example, if you watched the last episode, this Batman special, I told you basically what I thought of the Batman Forever toys. Disappointed in them. Same with the Aquaman, they're better than some, but not something I'd rush out and get. Power Princess, on the other hand, I never thought I'd say this. It's one Marvel legend. Even for you DC guys out there, I do recommend picking it up. Even though it leans forward a little bit, it does look good. It does make me think of a Wonder Girl size to go next to a Wonder Woman, which I'm still waiting for my pre-order to come in on that. But on that note, I hope you enjoyed the new format, the much longer format. Oh, yeah. But it's not always going to be this long. Sometimes it might just be a 10-minute show. Let's be honest. The new format is a good 22 to half an hour, sometimes a bit longer. And some of the specials I have planned might even go longer than that. But that's the whole fun of doing it once a week. I don't have to do, try to get this under 10 minutes, get this done. No. Like I said, it's me having fun here. This will never get monetized. It's my little grip on sanity is by doing this weekly toy show. And of course, doing it once a week gives me more time to edit. and think about what I'm going to do next week. Speaking of which, what do you want to see next week? Seriously. Comic books, I will pick a comic book for next week or an art book. Depends on how I'm feeling. It will be a DC Multiverse for the toy that I'm going to review. Now, I'm going to put it out there because I haven't filmed next week's show yet. Of course not. Now, do you want to see Peter do an action figure? Do you want to see Slim? Do you want to see Leroy Jr. again? But Lowry and Leroy are off the table. They're not coming back. They're going to be doing their own stuff on the Mad Montreal Man channel. But let me know, what do you want to see next week? And as for the vintage part of the show, I don't know yet. I might do a vintage Marvel, or I might do... actually, no. I know what I'm doing next week. I'm going to do a toy line I started buying ages ago. It was the first toy series I started buying after I'd stopped for quite a few years. I had talked about doing a special of this quite some long time ago. I filmed a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't like it, but now with the new setup, I am going to take a quick look at one of my favorite. And I have the complete set of all these toys out of package, of course, because, yeah, at the time I bought them because I want to keep them in package. I didn't want to keep them in packages. I would love to get these in packages as well. Not something you would think about collecting, especially in today's modern day and age, but it is a vintage toy line, and I have the complete series. I'm not going to do the whole complete series. That would be way too long of an episode, but I will bring one or two out to talk about those. And on that note, you fateful few, you toyaholics, thank you for watching. Once again, hit that like and subscribe. Get the word out there that there's this crazy guy named Mad Montreal Man who's doing toy reviews in the cold, white north. Actually, we do have snow now, so it is white outside. It's cold, and it's cold, and it's cold. And by the way, did I mention it's cold? But it's Canada. And until I have like millions of dollars and can move to like New Zealand, that's one choice. Scotland would be nice. Close enough to Ireland, close enough to England, but, you know, bagpipes and scotch. Or maybe even like South Korea or Japan, even though I think in Japan I'd stick out like a sore thumb. Big, ugly, white Gaijin with beard. Ugh. But I'd be toy hunting there too. But until I have those kind of riches, which will be never, I know, I'm going to stay here in Canada. Eventually I'll be back in my hometown of Montreal. And once I'm there, I'm going to keep doing this because this is fun. It makes you guys laugh. You know, I do find it funny that I get views, but not everyone likes the show. But I don't get no dislikes. I guess that's positive. If I get 2 or 3 likes and say a whole bunch of views, at least someone's watching it. And yeah, these are long. And I'm ranting. This is fun. As you can tell, I'm over my pneumonia that I had back in the end of December. Feeling much better. Still a little flamey every now and then. But yeah. So I think that's it. I've rambled on now for... Oh, this segment's like, oh my God, 20 minutes long. Well, it will be less than that once I cut out some bloopers I made. That's something else too. Do you still want me to put bloopers at the end? I don't really have that many. Last time I had one little blooper and that was it. But yeah, this is what happens when you have an unscripted show. It's all out of my mind and out of my mouth and to you. And we'll see you next time from the Madness Inc. house. And we'll see you then. Hey, your bloopers. It's too cold. My brain isn't working. Almost come. Welcome to a segment. Welcome to a segment. Hi, my brain is frozen because it's like -degrees outside, and my temperature inside the house with the lights is barely hitting 60 degrees Fahrenheit.